So it seemed to me that perhaps we could, we often end the silent Amidah with Oseh Shalom, and it is, of course, the final words of the Amidah. It seemed to me perhaps we could share together tonight in a sort of modern Oseh Shalom. This is the song that you find on the second to last and last pages of your handout by the great current day Israeli singer-songwriter Idan Raichel. The song is co-written by him and Aviv Geffen. Aviv Geffen, a legendary protest singer from the 90s, from the golden age of the peace process. Idan Raichel, band leader of the Idan Raichel Project, which has different kinds of multicultural influences from different kinds of Jews, including Ethiopian Jews, as well as different kinds of other folks from throughout the world. This song from 2013 comes from a time after the collapse of the 90s peace process, after the many different traumatic events of the Second Intifada and the 2000s, the rockets from Gaza, and many other different events that led to hardship and loss of trust on both sides. And I think that this song has a couple different very poignant points that connect like a necklace for us. You see here in the first verse that there's this longing to go out and see above us clean skies. In the context of Israel, this refers to skies without rockets, to skies under which you can be safe. And then in the second verse, as if in parallel, because it is, of course, each side of the conflict being created in the image of God, in the second verse, we see at the end, then we too can see then in ourselves what we did not recognize beyond the fence. And in Israel, this is a reference to the fences that wall off the West Bank and Gaza, particularly the iconic security barrier with Gaza made of stretches of fence and wall that can be seen on many highways going throughout Israel. And we might contemplate the fact that every society has its equivalent of that. We might say the wrong side of the tracks, or in America we might say south of the border. And I love the idea that it's not just that we're recognizing the humanity of the other, it's that we're recognizing that there are pieces of the other that aren't just the human dignity of the other, but they're even in ourselves too. We can even see it in ourselves too. And this level of empathy, this level of solidarity, right? It's a very modest song. It's not like the grand protest songs for peace of Israel in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But it's saying, in the wake of destruction and loss of trust, let's start by rebuilding empathy. Let's start by rebuilding being able to see each other as human beings, knowing that we all want safe skies to live under. And then, if we could have a little more of that, we'd find, as the chorus says, that we can reach good life, Chayim Tovim, like L'chaim, which sometimes gets expanded to L'chaim Tovim, to good life, right? And that's what we say here. And then, expressing this yearning we all have for simple life, Chayim P'shutim, right? Beyond the complexity of all the different hard questions and chaos and suffering, it's this yearning to reach simple life, Chayim P'shutim, that we all want and deserve so deeply. So if you know the song and you're familiar with the Hebrew, I encourage you to sing along, but I want to teach everybody how to sing the refrain of Chayim P'shutim, so that with 2 words of Hebrew, you can start singing along right away, and by the end, you'll be able to teach it to somebody else. So repeat after me. Hang on, wait, I gotta make sure I'm in the right key here. There we go. Okay, so repeat after me. Chayim P'shutim, Chayim P'shutim, Chayim P'shutim, Chayim P'shutim, Chayim P'shutim. That's it. All right, here we go. ביום שכל הרחובות יהיו לטובתנו, יהיו שם בשבילנו, ולא של אחרים. גם אנחנו אז נוכל לצאת שלובי ידיים, לראות אז מעלינו שמיים נקיים. ואת עכשיו את לא יודעת, אבל אני שמעתי, יש חיים טובים. שכל האנשים חיים בלי פחד ונשארים ביחד. Please join me. חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים. Next page. ביום שכל הרחובות יהיו לטובתנו, נוכל לצאת בערב, לראות רק כוכבים. גם אנחנו אז נוכל לראות אז בעצמנו, את מה שלא הכרנו מעבר לגדר. ואת עכשיו את לא יודעת, אבל אני שמעתי, יש חיים טובים. שכל האנשים חיים בלי פחד ונשארים ביחד. Here we go. חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים, חיים פשוטים. And we wish that with all of our hearts, for each other, for our kin in the Jewish family in Israel, for our neighbors, the Palestinians, children of Abraham as we are, and indeed for all who dwell on earth, for Kol Yoshvei Tevel.